Welcome to the Poison Podcast. I am your host, Nikki, also known as Lady Poison, here to bring you the antidotes on life and liberation. This podcast is sponsored to you by the Poison Bar, an adaptogen bar that also serves non-alcoholic beverages to those practicing sobriety or to those who simply don't drink. The title of today's podcast is Death Don't Have No Mercy. Death don't have no mercy. It don't give you no time to say goodbye. And it's always in a hurry. 'Cause death don't have no mercy. Today I heard a song by Dr. Reverend Davis, and it was entitled, Death Don't Have No Mercy. And after hearing that song, all I could think about was my daddy and all the stories that he told me about the obstacles that he faced and how he overcame them. And I thought about the story of him going to the army and doing basic training and all the people he said that didn't make it. I thought about his childhood when he told me about the horrific experiences of getting beaten and ostracized and tortured, and how he built up enough courage at 18 to leave so that he could create a better life for himself. I thought about even my birth. When my parents told me about my birth and my mom having an emergency C-section where she almost died, she ended up having to have a blood transfusion, which made her really, really cold. And my dad, he would stand above my mom's head because, that's one of the main places that we lose heat. And he would hover over her and say, think warm, honey, think warm, honey, think warm. And I thought to myself, wow, this man knows the power of the mind. He knows the power of the word. And he knows the power of switching his environment to create a new reality. And I said to myself, how could my daddy, how could someone with such strong mental capabilities become a victim to alcoholism? So for the last 10 years of my dad's life, he suffered from alcoholism. He suffered from cirrhosis of the liver. He suffered from great digestive issues that were twisted and turned with inside of him, which made him hold water, and his stomach looked like it was 9 months pregnant. He had several procedures where he had to get bands placed around his throat because the alcohol had burned a hole. His feet were swollen to capacity. His body was literally deteriorating in front of our eyes, and it was scary. And I kept thinking to myself, how could this be? How could my daddy, this strong mental person, be a victim of alcoholism? Well, me and my mom, we had our theories. And we believed it began on the day that he was breaking down the shed to make it smaller in our backyard. And a board swung off and a nail went into his head. We believe that not only did that cause some kind of physical elements, but it triggered memories of his tormented childhood into his brain. After that day, my dad would have several breakdowns of his childhood. And so I'm getting on here today to say that the things that we do not face, the traumas that we do not confront, they always come back. They always show back up in our life in some capacity. And so I'm sitting here today to encourage anyone that is listening to the sound of my voice that if you have experienced or are experiencing any type of trauma, any type of hardships and heartaches, to truly seek help, aid, and whatever capacity that you need to. That there are several different resources available to us to help guide us through these traumas, to help us break them down so that we can transform how we are viewing them and how we're thinking about them. There are different methods of just releasing those things out of your body. Because when we don't release it and when we hold it in, it creates disease in our bodies in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And that now is the time to heal that little boy or that little girl that is within you. Or even if the trauma happened as an adult, it's time to heal those wounds so that we can go forward to being our greatest selves. And so when we don't handle these things and we use these outside things to help guide us and aid us, they end up destroying our bodies, our minds, our relationships, our friendships. And death don't have no mercy. So all the choices that we make in life, we are held responsible for those choices. And we want to make the most wisest and best choices that we possibly can. Because if we make wrong choices, if we make choices that are going to destroy our bodies, death don't have no mercy. I just also want to give you guys a few resources, specifically if you live in Atlanta or Georgia for that matter. Anybody dealing with substance abuse in any capacity, alcoholism or other drugs, they have a free service. It's at Pineswood Behavioral Health in Griffin, Georgia. And it's a free service where you come in and get detoxed and the support that you need. Another good aid is just signing up for therapy. They have a great therapy center in Conyers, Georgia called 360 Family Therapy. And they also have something online called betterhealth.com. And if anybody is struggling with any of those things, I advise for you to reach out to any of these different places. And if you need any more guidance or help or resources, you can email me at cure@thepoisonbar.com. Thank you for tuning in to the Poison Podcast. I am so grateful and so thankful that you are listening, and stay tuned for other episodes. Thank you so much.